Alright, so as we all know, the Five Nights at Freddy's movie released 2 days ago, and I watched it like a day after it released. So I'm going to give my general opinion on things on the movie, and the one thing I didn't really like or looked too fondly upon after the movie ended. There's only really one thing that didn't slide well for me after the entire movie ended, and I want to specifically speak upon it. Now, I want to say that I am not a huge FNAF fan. Like, I don't got cosplays of the characters and shit like that. I haven't indulged myself in every single piece of FNAF media imaginable, but I have listened to numerous hour-long videos about the entire lore of the franchise itself because I personally find the lore to be absolutely amazing and interesting. I believe the FNAF lore is some of the greatest fictional horror pieces to have ever been created, with so many good twists and characters, some with answered endings and some with unanswered ones. So I believe I am legally allowed to have an opinion on this movie because I know some of y'all just want to castrate people who are like new fans and shit of this series. Like, nah, like I'm 19 years old, bro, okay? Like, I've been there, I've done that, okay? So let's get into the things I liked about the movie. Oh, I also want to mention a very funny thing. So I didn't watch this movie in the theaters, nor did I watch it on Peacock. I mean, I did technically watch it on Peacock, but I actually ended up watching the movie on Discord, okay? Like, bro, look, I don't know what to tell you, okay? But I was just chilling, and then randomly somebody sent me the entire fucking movie on Discord, and y'all look, this is why I gotta stay using Discord, because holy shit, bro, it genuinely came out of nowhere. Like, the person who sent it to me had no prior DMs of me beforehand, so they just decided to bless me on that day, and that's why I ended up watching the movie. So I think that's pretty funny. Okay, now onto the things I liked about the movie. Firstly, the musical score in the opening arcade game sequence done by the Newton brothers is absolute fire. It's peak. It sounds like something that was either ripped straight from the FNAF franchise or something that belongs in there, and it was a great opening musical score for the movie, 10 out of 10. Now fast forward to the actual movie, right? I think that they did Mike's character extremely well in this movie by giving him every single good reason to go to and from the fucking FNAF establishment in the first place, because holy shit, you would never catch my ass going in that building. Like, I swear to God, bro, abandoned buildings, security job or not, is not worth it, bro, like I'm telling you. It starts off with Mike assaulting a father who was taking their child somewhere, mistaking him as a kidnapper only because Mike has trauma from his brother, Garrett, being taken in the past, which makes the scene make more sense. Then when he has to get a new job, and the only one he could take is this crummy security job that nobody would want, he's then forced to take it in fear of his sister Abby being taken away from him by Aunt Jan. Then the motives of continuously returning back to the establishment is pushed even further, since his dreams of his little brother being kidnapped start to become more and more vivid due to the dead kids' souls and whatnot. Very great reasons for him to keep returning back there, and I appreciate that. And I appreciate the mystery surrounding Garrett being taken. The animatronics in this movie look perfect. There's no flaw about their designs, they just look straight up perfect. There's one scene where these people are getting killed by them and Bonnie steps out of a closet, and you can hear the mechanical whirring and heaviness of him just turning his body around. And I think that was a great detail. Like, it really helps remind you that these are literally just giant metallic robots that could crush you to death if they wanted to. Speaking on people getting murked, that cupcake is just straight standing on business. This man got like 2 kills, tried to bite Mike's leg off, jumped into creative mode one time, and then caused the springlock failure at the end of the movie. Like, this man was not playing any type of games, he was definitely out for blood. The movie isn't really scary at all, other than the balloon boy jump scares. I do believe the jump scares in horror movies can be a pretty weak means of scaring the audience, but for FNAF, a franchise built on jump scares from the beginning, it would have been great to see more of them from the animatronics. There was this one scene where I kind of started tripping, but then I came to my senses and understood why this scene happened, okay? So, it was a scene where Abby and the animatronics were building the pillow fort. And for a lot of people, I can see why they be tripping and calling it the "We Are FNAF" scene from the movie. But honestly, I came to my senses after a while and remembered No, like these are just dead kids at the end of the day. Of course they'd retain some level of innocence and childhood wonder even if they're being manipulated. I do think the thumbs up was kinda goofy from Bonnie though, but the premise of the scene in general I understood the point of. But while I was tripping that the movie would suddenly become bad because of the fourth scene, I literally said verbatim, okay, maybe the animatronics are acting friendly towards Abby and Mike, so that way they can kidnap Abby and make them just like one of them after they've gained their trust. And surprise, surprise, that's exactly what happened at the end of the movie. There was this one extremely goofy scene I couldn't wrap my head around. It was a scene where Freddy basically just fucking instant transmission his ass into Mike's home, took Abby, and then took a cab back to the establishment. I'm sorry, but like, did I miss something here? I would understand how Freddy knew where they live, because Mike and Abby share dreams with them. But how did Freddy even get there in the first place? Did bro run to the house or something? Like, I don't even get it. And it's not even a hallucination either, because Corey could see Freddy in his car. Or maybe it was, and they just did it for some funny cameo moment, I don't know. Also, MatPat is in this movie, by the way. And I still think it was a sin for Markiplier to not be in this movie, man. Like, I know, bro was working on his own movie, and the times were conflicting. But damn, it would have been so perfect for him to be there, it just sucks.
Was that the bite of 87?
Anyways, let me get on to the final act of this movie. When William finally made his appearance, when I first saw William at the start of the movie, generally I didn't think it was him. Like, the way that he was acting had me thinking that the guy who gave Mike the job in the first place was either the phone guy or William. And it turned out he was in fact William. Just want to say, Matthew's acting is great here. I can really feel the selfishness and the anger of his character here. Brought the character justice. But let me move on to the scene that disappointed me the most. And I know that you know what I'm going to talk about. And it's highly controversial right now, just like a lot of other things in this movie. Firstly, how did the taser itself not set off the spring lock mechanic? Seems to be something that would, but nah, they just had to give my man Cupcake another dog tag to claim. Now, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I think the spring lock scene was pretty disappointing. And it's not like I don't know the reasons as to why it was underwhelming. I know every single excuse and reason as to why this man's body and bones didn't get destroyed on an atomic level, and why he didn't start crying, pissing, and shitting his pants at once like in the fan animations. So allow me to explain all of these reasons, and also allow me to explain why these reasons suck. First reason, the movie being PG-13, which is the most viable reason. Obviously, they can't show a man being pulverized to death in graphic detail in a PG-13 movie, and the movie has to be PG-13 because unfortunately, most of the FNAF fandom are children, and they will lose a lot more money if it was rated R. So you know something, I actually understand this reason. I've been reading feedback about this scene a lot, and by far the biggest argument that people have for this scene not being overtly gruesome is because it's actually realistic. And my honest opinion on that argument is, who honestly gives a shit? This entire franchise's plot literally surrounds dead kids possessing animatronics. When did we start caring about realism? And when did everybody start becoming body anatomy experts? Like, look, I swear to God, every single one of y'all switched up so hard in my eyes because all of the old animations and fan-made sound clips of the springlock scene had y'all eating that shit up like it was no tomorrow. I already know some of y'all's edgy asses were in the comments of those videos like, it really shows you how gruesome, how brutal, how downright terrifying a springlock failure is, hearing his bones being crunched, his flesh being mangled. And then when the scene finally comes out on the big screen, now y'all prefer this one because it's more realistic, and not even bothering to figure out why some of us were disappointed with it. Let me tell you something, I don't care about it being realistic. I already knew the franchise wasn't realistic when dead kids started possessing fucking robots. So I don't think it's too far-fetched to say that in a live-action horror movie about the franchise, I'd expect one of the more widely considered gruesome scenes to be adapted in a gruesome way. I also see some nerds saying some shit like, oh no, it's based on the books. And look, y'all, I'm gonna keep it 100% with y'all right now. I never knew FNAF books fucking existed. Okay, it wasn't until a day ago when I found out that they existed, but even then, who gives a shit? The entire franchise itself was built off of the video games first. And I understand that the movie is like an alternate timeline mixed with the books and the games, but even in both the games and the books, the springlock scene was even worse than the one we saw on screen. There's people too out here saying, well, you should be appreciative that we even got this in the first place. And I just want to tell all of you personally who feel that way, I'm going to stuff you in an animatronic suit myself and springlock your ass instead. Because what type of weak ass argument is that? Let's say, like, if the movie was absolutely garbage, like, I don't know, the Fazbear gang were literally just furries or something, would you say that we should be appreciative of the movie still just because they made a FNAF movie in the first place? Hell no. If you're going to make a movie based on a generationally popular franchise, you better do the movie justice because you have a whole lot of shit to get inspiration from. Now, I'm not saying the movie isn't good, it's just that I hate when people make that weak argument. It's just so annoying, man. It's like having a large pepperoni pizza and then giving the starving African child next to you a singular pepperoni slice or something and saying you should be appreciative for that. Like, it just doesn't make any sense. Then you got some people saying, oh, it's because the animated springlock scenes are just fan-made. Okay, then explain to me why the fucking Living Tombstone song, which is a fan-made song, is at the end of the movie credits. I was just kind of disappointed with the springlock scene. I wanted that man William to wail his ass off and get crunched to death, but it didn't happen, more than likely because the movie is just PG-13. And that's the funniest part, because for all of y'all saying the springlock scene is better because it's realistic, I can assure you that if the movie was rated R instead, they wouldn't have given a shit about that. They would have made it as gruesome as it was supposed to be. Besides all of that, I think the actual ending was pretty good. Leaves it off for a sequel, of course. Overall, I'd give this movie a solid 8 out of 10. I never expected it to be scary, and it really wasn't. So if you're a person who just enjoys horror movies but doesn't care about FNAF in general, you probably won't care about this movie or like it. But if you're a FNAF fan, you're going to like this movie, okay? Like, it's not amazing, it's not terrible, it's just good or great even. And the critics are just ass Debbie Downers, okay? Don't listen to the critics. Check out the movie. And that's all for now.